E-Series location confirmed. Unlocking hot shelter sector now.
Well, this is one of the most unique cutscenes because one, this is an unused music track that's supposed to be used after when the egg ocean has crashed into the ocean. And it was pretty I like this music, but I would have been very sad if they took away the normal egg carrier music.
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
So this was supposed to be the egg carrier music after it's in the ocean. That would have been sad, and I would have not enjoyed that.
Because the original egg carrier music defines the egg carrier. It's all creepy, lonely, just the music, the instruments. This one just sounds much more upbeat, happy, kind of. And much more kind of intense, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what, this part is supposed to be for E1 and 2's climax part. You're gonna tackle the longest stage, I guess, for E1 and 2. And yes, we forgot to also talk about the upgrades. Because first of all, we had the hovering upgrade. And now we're gonna get a second upgrade. So what does these two upgrades do for E1 and 2?
The hovering upgrade makes him hover, and this is your laser blaster. Its blast damages images in a wide pattern. What that means is you can actually aim at one enemy, but it'll destroy like 3 or 5, or depending on how close they are to each other. You gotta love to call, man.
Yeah. Anyways, Jay, what's your favorite stage from E1 and 2?
Favorite stage? I'd have to say either Red Mountain or this one. This one's a big favorite of mine.
Especially about, it's got much more variety and it's much more bigger than the other ones.
Right.
Yeah. And the music is awesome, as always.
Gotta love Sega, man.
I always want to ask you guys as well that, in Amy's story, when you jump through what E1 and 2 was doing, and you can actually hover to actually get into that room, I always want to know, can you do that for Amy? Because I've done this so many times with Amy that I go into hot shower, I try to jump in to that little room while falling down, and I can never get into that room.
There are very many glitches in this stage with all 3 characters. I can actually get Amy to go to Big's area underwater completely. I can get Big to go to some random crazy out there area that is not even programmed in the game, and he can catch a bunch of fish there. So one day I'll do a let's play on that if I can get the glitch to happen. It's fairly easy. You just jump into the elevator wall at the beginning of the stage and the character will just magically glitch through it. But as far to answer your question, no, I've never done that with Gamma, but I know it's possible.
Yeah. In the suspense of having the hover upgrade for E1 and 2 Gamma, I was guessing that they would have actually put much more pitfalls and traps and actually have much more trickier platforming instead of much more kind of long lanes and loops that I was going to be expecting for Sonic's type of gameplay.
Well, believe it or not, this stage it has some tricky platforming. There's the train towards the end, which is very hard to do, especially if you don't use your hovering skill. And I don't know if you die by falling off the train. I don't think that you die, but you can definitely get yourself screwed up. And there's always the time factor. There's a lot of different difficulty factors when you're playing with Gamma. But I think his controls are a little clunky. I think that they did a good job playing it safe with the platforming, I guess. But at the same time, I see what you're saying. There should have definitely been more pitfalls and trickier platforms, I guess.
Because it would have definitely tested out much more the hovering. That you would have to judge how much far you have to get, and also with E1 and 2 Gamma is that he has a great momentum-based platforming as well. You take a couple of seconds and he actually goes into a different mode. And I was thinking that when he actually goes into different mode and he actually jumps more further. That would have been much more better if, like, you want to get from one platform to another, and then that tests out the player if they really know how much Gamma controls. At the same time, there's much more bigger open areas, which I do love from 3D games, that I do want them to do. I just like, look at this now, it's like we're in the train section, and that you can do anything on these trains, and if you do drop out, you're gonna get pushed all the way back, and then that's gonna lose your time limit so miraculously, and that was a good aspect for Gamma's story, or should I say gameplay.
Right. That's the thing about Gamma. He's kind of a versatile character. Some people think of him as like a shooter type of character. Yeah. Other people see him as a platformer, which he is, you know. And then other people see him as like almost like a mini game type of feel, because he can hover and he can do so many things that the other characters kind of can't. And kind of like Big as well, but I'm gonna save that for Big's Let's Play. But yeah, Gamma's a unique one. He's not just like running and jumping like Sonic and power-ups. He's not running, jumping, and flying like Tails. Not running, jumping, and gliding and hunting like Knuckles. He's kind of like a bunch of different things rolled into one, and that's what makes his gameplay the most unique out of the bunch, if you ask me.
So that's why it actually carried on to what's it called? Sonic Adventure 2, yeah.
It did, and I have my own reservations about that, but we'll save that for the Sonic Adventure 2 Let's Play.
But yeah. So Jay, with E102 story, taken about how long? Actually, wait, I don't even know myself, but let me just ask you this: how long would you expect an average player to complete E102 story?
I'd say about maybe an hour and a half. Because I know when I first played E102, I was just going around everywhere and just messing around. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this character is so awesome.
Exactly. That's what I did too.
Did you love every single cutscene for E102?
I did, yes, and his story has a lot of cutscenes, but his story is very short too. But I think I would like to see more cutscenes if they could have done it, but you know.
E105 Zeta.
It seems he finally got the last bird. Or is that all for E102 story?
Almost.
Do we have to find a certain old friend?
We have to find our older brother, Beta.
E105 Zeta rescue complete. Units remaining. Gamma. Beta.
So this is it. He's seen his older brother flying in the sky, and he knows where the final stage is set.
Yep.
Okay, so we are at the final boss of this game. Him and his brother. Do you normally do this to your brother? Fight to the death?
Yes, but we're not gonna talk about that right now.
Okay. So you go fight your plastic spoon.
What?
Yeah, because I know you won't kill your brother like E102 would.
No, of course not. Although there was that one time.
So much more to this boss. Why is this boss much more different compared to the other robots?
He can fly, he has no legs, he shoots lasers, he shoots missiles, he dodges your attacks, and he's actually kind of like, he reminds me of Metal Sonic a little bit. He's kind of cocky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very true. The only thing is here that Dr. Robotnik didn't reprogram him to be just like E102.
No, he did not.
And he's much more bigger. Actually, no. I say E105, the last one we saw in Hot Show, that's the biggest one. The biggest one.
Oh my gosh, how could I forget? Guys, that last one? Oh,
Yeah.
how could I forget this? That last robot, the purple one, E105, I believe. If you look closely at that robot, there's little Dreamcasts on him. Or her. Or it. There's
That's right.
Dreamcast on it. I saw that today for the first time ever. I was like, oh my god, I gotta do this, tell them that for the Let's Play. There's little Dreamcasts on them. You have to look closely, but they're there. You see them. It's just like Virtual On, how they have Dreamcasts on their backs. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
Yep.
Mission complete.
Everybody rewind.
Exactly. Everyone go back. We will annotate the time, and you can click it and whatnot.
And we are at the end of E102's story. So guys, what do you guys think to the whole story?
First of all, I would like to point out that Dean Bristow, the voice actor for Dr. Robotnik, is also the voice actor for Gamma. And I would like to give a moment of silence for Dean.
Okay.
And yes, rest in peace, Dean. But as you were saying, Blue?
What do you think, Jay, overall?
It is a very emotional, very almost, like you finish the story and you're like, wow, that was so satisfying and yet so sad,
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want this character to quote unquote die, but he has to.
Right. And as a kid, I didn't pick up on the emotional undertones of Gama's story. I just figured, oh, he's a robot. The animals in the road. We gotta get the animal out. I was so tactical about it. But by the age of maybe 16 or 17, I actually did get very emotional when I played through his story. And I still do now. It's just like, wow. Man, this story is so deep, and that's what I want the fans to realize. This isn't like...
I just want to know as well that, why does the antagonist characters from the start that transforms into a protagonist at the end normally die in Sonic games? Or should I say, it will happen in the Sonic Adventure series with Gamma and supposedly Shadow at one point.
Metal Sonic, technically.
Metal Sonic?
Kinda.
Is that in the movie?
Well, Sonic CD, and definitely in the movie.
Yeah.
Sonic CD, we assume that he died, but he didn't. But I agree with you there, though. It happens a lot.
And also, we was talking about that it was references to 3D Blast for this story in particular.
Right. The Sonic, the entire Sonic series is based off of the fact that Dr. Robotnik's kidnapping animals and putting them in robots. Sonic's job is to save them, pretty much. That's why there's capsules at the end of every stage in Sonic 1, 2, and Sonic 3. Sonic 3D Blast still remained canon. Your job is to protect the animals from Dr. Robotnik, save them, and send them back home. This game, there's a lot of animals inside of the robots, and you can collect them for chow purposes and things like that, and that's not the main focus of the game. Chaos is the main focus, and Tikal and all these other story items, but you have stories like Gamma and Amy that are about the animals and pretty much rescuing them from the robots. That's pretty much the main goal of their two stories. Mm-hmm. And I just want to point out that is probably one of the most canon. You can't get any more canon than that. Staying true to the original Sonic 1.
Oh, yeah.
That's very much in line with what Sonic's all about. Which is why this game is probably one of the best in Sonic's history.
I'll give much more my input for Gamma in Sonic Adventure 2's Let's Play, but for you guys, what's your last words and thoughts?
Well, I just gotta say Gamma's epic. That's it. And rest in peace, Steam, and rest in peace, Gamma.
And for me, I love you, Gamma, so much. Good night.
Okay, cool. So we'll leave it as that. Thanks for everyone watching. Thanks for you guys being a great guest. Really, really great episode. And thanks for Sith26, part of our forum channel, by the way. www.sonicrevolution.org/forums for his advertisements, and his channel, YouTube channel, is www.youtube.com/Sith26. And see you guys next time with Big the Cat. Yeah. Take care.